Coming up on Fulton Today, South Fulton mayors brainstorm strategies to spread the news about T-Splost. We'll explain. And the fire department will soon be able to hire more first responders. We'll explain why. That and more starts right now on Fulton Today. Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. The major push is on to educate residents on what the Transportation Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax would really mean for them. Now, South Fulton mayors are getting their help from the county, and FGTV's Priscilla Ortega joins us now to explain how. Priscilla?
All of the cities are working together and with the county to find out how to best communicate details of the T-Splost, because they know in order to deal with this, they must work together. Mayors from cities in South Fulton gathered a few times over the last few weeks, and the topic that keeps getting the spotlight, the T-Splost.
Everybody is aware that transportation is an issue.
After a year of meetings with both North and South Fulton mayors to work out the details, now is the time to educate residents on the referendum.
Some good things are happening, but we're going to be even more deliberate and more aggressive in terms of getting the word out about the T-Splost, the transportation splost that will benefit all of Fulton County, but especially South Fulton.
To get the word out, the county hosted a meeting of South Fulton mayors at the Government Center, as did the South Fulton Chamber of Commerce. The idea is to deliver the same message on the T-Splost, even if using different methods.
A lot of ours is going to be from social media.
The only way you're going to make sure that every potential voter knows about this is by mailing.
Those who live outside the city of Atlanta will vote on a 0.75 sales tax for transportation. The T-Splost is expected to bring in about $570 million over 5 years. Each city will get a portion of that money depending on the population.
For the city of Fairburn, we have 91 miles of street, and so this clearly the city of Fairburn cannot facilitate financially to actually improve the infrastructure with 91 miles.
Over the course of the last few years, there are just more and more of these efforts where we're coming together, and it's really starting to have an impact, so it's hugely important.
Now, as far as the city of Atlanta, studies consistently rank Atlanta among the top 10 U.S. cities for the worst traffic. So Atlanta will also have a T-Splost and a separate MARTA referendum. Now, if both of those are approved, that would equal to a 0.9 sales tax increase. All of these issues will be on the ballot in November. Reporting from downtown Atlanta, I'm Priscilla Ortega for FGTV.
Thanks, Priscilla. Meanwhile, Fulton's fire department is awarded more firepower, which will translate into better fire protection for the community it serves. The department will receive another SAFER grant in the amount of just over $1.7 million.
What it means to be awarded this grant is that we're able to maintain our staffing levels so that our firefighters can respond to emergency medical calls as well as fire calls within the community.
Sponsored by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the SAFER grant, which stands for Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Services Response, will allow the Fulton Fire Department to add 15 frontline trained firefighters for 2 years without any matching funds from the county.
That is big for the county. When you receive that $1.745 million from the federal government and there's no funds that we have to add to it to match, that's big. I mean, it's like a real grant that you get and that you can readily go into and start hiring firefighters. And we don't have to put any part of our budget aside to do that.
Now, since 2010, the Fulton County Fire and Rescue Department has received more than $7.7 million in SAFER grant funds for the employment of firefighters. Providing the best protection during an emergency was the mission of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office when 2 evacuations test the department's readiness should the real thing actually happen. FGTV's Felicia Church has the story.
Still in the stage 3, code red.
Whether it's the jail or the courthouse, The biggest goal of each is to ensure the safety of staff, visitors, and inmates in the case of an emergency. Both held evacuation drills at their respective venues recently, and everyone got out safely thanks to well-trained leaders.
The drill went really well. Everything that we have been rehearsing and practicing for and all our training really paid off. It was really effective.
They did what they were supposed to do. They moved out properly, and we didn't have any problems, any complications. We're getting them to go to the destination.
At the courthouse, it's the floor leaders everyone seeks when looking for safety.
The floor leader makes sure that everyone is evacuated properly, and we get to our destination, in which we did.
And at the jail, it's the staff's weekly training that made this drill a special one.
This was special because it's something we've been working on all year long. We do weekly drills with the staff members weekly, and this is the summer of everything that took place throughout the year. So this is, we work with all the agencies, Atlanta PD, along with the Law Enforcement Division, and now we put it all together, and it all comes together as one major drill.
And to make things feel as real as possible at the jail's fire evacuation, officials decided to go high-tech.
We have a system which is called Bolex, and it revolves smoke. Well, the smoke is a liquid form of water, and once it's generated through a generator, it clouds up the whole entire area.
While the staff and visitors were escorted from the building, the inmates were transported to nearby detention centers, thanks to mutual aid agreements with agencies like the Martyr Police Department and Atlanta Corrections. Back at the courthouse, once the evacuation was complete, it was back to business for everyone involved. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Felicia Church.
County leaders come together to tackle justice reform programs. Chairman John Eves, District Attorney Paul L. Howard Jr., and Sheriff Ted Jackson were among the panelists speaking about smart justice at the Rotary Club of Atlanta.
It's all of us working together, the community, law enforcement, and the system will make a difference. It will not only reduce crime, it will also make productive citizens out of those that might engage in crime. And if they are engaged in crime, to change their behavior so they become productive citizens.
Justice reinvestment and expungement were just some of the topics discussed in front of business community leaders to give them an update on why Fulton County has become a leader in reform.
Well, in effect, we're all paying taxes, aren't we? Businesses pay taxes as well, so they should care about that. So they really need to understand how they can engage further than just a community liaison on a board, throwing a little bit of money at a project. Instead, helping create jobs for returning citizens, helping to fund programs that keep people out of prison or bring them home safe.
The Smart Justice Initiative started 2 years ago due to the county's high rates of incarceration and recidivism. The county's Grandparents Raising Grandchildren initiative celebrates its first year of existence. Started by the Juvenile Courts Probation Division, this organization provides grandparents the support they need to raise their children's children.
Grandparents, as we once knew them, has changed. We all have a grandmama story, a big mama story, a mud deer story. But now grandparents are taking on responsibilities of having to assume responsibility for their grandchildren, and some of them are poverty-stricken. Some of them are disabled themselves. Some of them are illiterate. They only went to maybe the 2nd or 3rd grade. So we're having to provide resources for them now that they're having to take care of their grandchildren to make life a little bit better for them.
To celebrate its 1-year anniversary, a resource fair was held at the Juvenile Justice Center. Representatives from aging and youth, housing and human services, and health and wellness were all on hand to offer expertise and guidance.
Oh, it helped me a lot with the different programs that we can get in to help with our grandchildren and help other children. We can get our advice to someone that is very much in need.
I have 2 of my mothers who are part of this program, and they it has transformed them, it has given them a level of confidence, and has allowed them to kind of understand better their role and embrace their role as opposed to their role embracing them. And so they've embraced their role as grandparents raising grandkids, and it has made them stronger and happier, and they're just as satisfied and full as I've ever seen them.
Now, if you or someone you know wants to get involved, the Grandparents Raising Grandchildren Support Group meets every third Thursday at the Mechanicsville Library. And when we come back, the outlook for North Fulton's next generation is a part of our district by district coverage next. North Fulton leaders give the outlook on how the upcoming T-SPLOS vote could impact their communities, and we get an update on how a White House initiative is doing right here in Fulton County. Here's this week's district by district coverage. We begin with members of the Fulton County My Brother's Keeper Task Force. Chairman John Eves addressed the group at its recent meeting and assured them that he would continue with the mentorship program long after President Obama leaves office. The at-large commissioner created Fulton's version of the White House initiative to help keep young African-American boys on the right track.
We have a total of 7 different task forces, which range from training and employment to health and wellness, supportive housing, as well as health and wellness, so that when these young people receive any type of jobs, they also have different resources for to live, as well as to receive health benefits.
They are just running with this program in terms of employing young boys of color, young men of color, as well as coming up with some preventative and interventive strategies to minimize the likelihood of these individuals going into the criminal justice system.
President Obama launched the initiative in 2014 to ensure all young people reach their full potential. Chairman Eves and Commissioner Joan Garner created the task force shortly thereafter. District 1 Commissioner Liz Hausman joins other officials for the North Fulton Opportunity Outlook Forum. The group heard from economic development and transit leaders from peer cities about best practices for attracting and retaining the next generation. North Fulton business and education leaders also shared how they are supporting technology and talent that will drive that development.
We are a magnet for technology companies here in the footprint of North Fulton, and so a lot of discussion will be on how that will impact our community in the future with the growth that we expect.
Fulton's Chief Operating Officer shared information on the upcoming T-SPLOS vote and project list.
So this is a good opportunity also to get out. We had a booth here this morning with about 200 or 300 people. We had a booth for our T-SPLOS and kind of educating the voters up here, trying to make sure everybody understands what's upcoming with T-SPLOS. And economic development is paramount to what's going on all around the county, because jobs are kind of where it's at. And if people don't have jobs, the county doesn't prosper, and we need that to happen for Fulton, so we're excited to be part of this.
Both the Greater North Fulton Chamber of Commerce and the Council for Quality Growth helped to host the event held at the Computer Museum of America in Roswell. District 5 Commissioner Marvin Arrington Jr. joins members of the Bowden Multipurpose Facility to hear from an Atlanta author about her latest publication. The Bowden Connie Abbott Book Club invited Essie Nail to share with the group about her book titled Emerging from Darkness, Living Without Secrets. Ms. Nails, who is no stranger to the facility, signed copies of her new work.
She is a frequent member here at the Bowden Center and participant in one of the dance troupes. And so I just wanted to come out to show support for her, the Bowden Center, and all of the seniors here.
This is the third book for author Essie Nail. She also wrote Emotional Wellness for Women, Volume 3, and Learning to Love Yourself, a guide for the African American woman. And finally, in District 6, the grand reopening of the South Fulton Library. County leaders and community members gathered to celebrate the official completion of the renovated and expanded facility.
We want to say thank you to this community for all of the support that you have given us and for making this day possible for the reopening of the expanded bigger and better South Fulton Library.
It's been a long, arduous process. Everybody's excited. We have fantastic art in the building. We have all new computers, a whole new collection. We're encouraging everyone in the community to come out and visit and be part of this new effort to renew South Fulton.
I think it's just fantastic. It's really nice to have a nice new library on the south side.
The state-of-the-art venue is part of the $275 million building program funded by a library bond referendum approved by voters in 2008. Voters approved building 8 new libraries and expanding and renovating 2 others. Now you can catch more of your commissioners at work all this week with the rebroadcast of the Board of Commissioners meeting right here on FGTV. And still to come, the rush was on to sign up for some popular county programs. We'll explain when we come back. The HIV testing program at the Fulton County Jail has become so successful that now it is a model for other jails in the region. FGTV's Lynn Vaughn explains.
In Fulton County Jail, about 9 out of every 300 persons has HIV.
That statistic, which medical professionals say is higher than at other jails, is why Fulton jail leaders are taking a bold approach.
That's part of what the nurses are trying to do at the jail, is make sure that every inmate come through know their status.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, along with Emory's Rollins School of Public Health, has teamed up with the jail to offer opt-out HIV testing for all inmates. Since the program started in 2011, medical staff members have tested about 59,000 inmates. Nearly 300 have found out they were HIV positive. Now the DeKalb County Jail is doing routine HIV testing as well.
We're eager to see that this model be continued at other local jails, such as the city jail, and there are very large jails in most of the surrounding counties.
Each newly diagnosed inmate immediately gets information on treatment and other resources, so he or she can get viral suppression medication, helping to prevent the spread of HIV.
Once they are able to have funds, housing, medical care, mental, and when they have those things wrapped around, the outcomes are much better. I have a lot of success stories.
Organizers say those success stories are important for the entire community because each prevented case of HIV saves lives and saves society some $500,000. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Lynn Vaughn.
Thank you very much, Lynn. And speaking of, HIV clients can get clinical care at a health center in Midtown. Health professionals at Positive Impact Health Centers, or PIHC, offer treatment prevention, counseling, and housing assistance for the HIV community. Now, services have now been expanded at the Midtown location to now include expert medical care for HIV clients.
Our patients do have transportation barriers, so we knew this clinic was really important. We also knew that the community would be incredibly supportive and all of our nonprofit partners, so the response has been overwhelming. We're really happy to be here and happy for the response that we've received.
We have been ramping up the clinic. We now have full-time staff here. We just received another grant to help with additional staffing, and we want people to know that we're here and we're ready to help take care of them.
Residents over 13 years old can also get HIV and STI testing there. The workers recommend sexually active individuals get HIV tested every 3 to 6 months. The nonprofit, which receives funding from the county's Ryan White program, provides most services on a sliding fee basis. To get more information, call the main number at 404-589-9040. Hundreds of seniors get ready for their favorite fitness classes at county senior centers. Residents lined up to register for health and educational classes at the Harriet G. Darnell Senior Multipurpose Facility. There are so many seniors who enjoy the classes that organizers have to use a lottery-style registration process.
We're blessed at Darnell that we have a lot of participants who want to come and attend the classes. So in order for us to be fair, we use the lottery system where you come in, you get your ticket number, numbers go in the barrel. So it's the pull of the draw so that everyone gets a fair chance at getting a class. And most of the time it works out pretty well that everybody pretty much gets what they want.
Well, it went pretty fast today. My number was pretty early in the mix and was called pretty early, and I was able to get my yoga class.
Seniors can take water aerobic classes, line dancing classes, and a number of other exercise classes each quarter. Employees from the Aging and Youth Department expect to have nearly 2,000 participants for the fall session alone. To learn more about the programs, call the Star Line, 404-613-6000. And when Fulton Today returns, we celebrate one of the oldest cards in the world and the new joys from it. Stay with us. So here's a question. What allows you to go to the zoo, state parks, and explore your imagination all for free? A library card. It's not too late to celebrate Library Card Sign-Up Month and take advantage of the card's many perks. Residents can borrow up to 50 items at a time at any branch, and that includes books, audio tapes, and movies. There's also an educational online database called eCampus for young ones to seniors. The library employees also host plenty of free events like yoga classes and puppet shows at each branch.
Your library card really is your ticket to everything that is awesome about Atlanta and Fulton County. The library card can get you your favorite book. You're looking for a recipe, you can go check out a cookbook. If you're looking to learn, a new language, you can go online and download our Mango language applications. We have so much to offer. It really is something for everyone, from children all the way to seniors. We've got something for you.
Library patrons can also check out the Zoo Pass, which allows a family of 4 to enter the Atlanta Zoo for free. The Georgia State Parks Pass is also available for free parking or admission at any of the state's parks. You can sign up online at afpls.org. And finally, seniors explore the Atlanta BeltLine. Several of the members of the Harriet G. Darnell Senior Multipurpose Facility loaded a bus to take the BeltLine tour. The group started at Inman Park, MARTA Station, and traveled along the BeltLine and the areas where developers will connect the loop. The seniors saw the parks, the trails, and transit along the 22-mile loop.
Everything is awesome. It's been an awesome trip. A lot of stuff I had never seen before on that side of town. So it's been very good.
It's exciting, especially for them to see how these neighborhoods have changed and now are being reconnected.
The seniors were also encouraged to take part in the health classes that take place along the BeltLine. The Atlanta BeltLine is expected to be completed by 2030. And before we go, our reminder that we'd like to connect with you online. Check us out anytime on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. Thank you so much for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.